Okay. Okay. Greetings. Um, Good morning, good evening, good night, whenever you are watching this video. So this is another one. I want to uh, quickly kind of finish up the other video that I did on uh, Confessions of a Pickmesha. So this is part two. And try not to make this too long because it's kind of late here. It's raining, and so I'm tired. I'm gonna get something to eat and watch a little TV. So try not to take up too much of your time. See, so the last thing I was saying, um, let's see here. So one of the other things that I guess I want to say fundamentally about um, no longer vibrating in the energy of being consumed with the idea of being selected and preferred, being the ideal choice, all the programming that goes along with that, because it's fundamentally it's not working. And what I'll say is, you get trapped in cycles of trauma, of inauthenticity, and fundamentally loss and destruction. And what I mean by inauthenticity is such a big deal. You come into this world to fundamentally learn about who you are. The things that define you, to have a clear sense of your values. Not so much that the values and morals that are programmed from people around you, like your family, etc. What you feel morally resonates with you. Your interests, things that turn you on, things that inspire you. But when you are all consumed with the prospect and the pursuit of a man, those things will take a back burner. Oftentimes, you'll they'll disappear. They'll be whatever he likes, and that it isn't healthy. Especially when you just kind of left holding the bag with that. It's very damaging. So I'll definitely say that's no longer something that I will be engaging in. Trading in your authenticity for a relationship, fundamentally for validation, where that validation should come from yourself as you begin to explore and understand your authenticity. And oftentimes men will purposefully suppress that for all kind of reasons. That's another video. But the important part is to recognize that there's a pattern, and that's something to look at and to be aware of. The next thing I'll say, uh, let's see. So, in the confessions of no longer being a Pickmesha, that this distorted feminine energy, and I will do another video on this. Um, Fundamentally, a Pickmesha is a woman who is in a distorted feminine energy. You know, Women who will be hypersexualized for male attention, adoration, being competitive to have a competitive edge. Also, all of that is toxic. And the reason why it's so toxic, particularly in these days and times, is because men are aware of it and they play it like a fiddle. And it's this toxic cycle that just gets worse and worse and worse. And the only person who's hurt and broken in the process is you. So it's the energy that you have to resign from and take your hands off. It's a distortion of a natural, beautiful gift that we've all been given as women, but it's it's abused and distorted when you decide to go into like a pick me energy, and so it's no good. Um, so I definitely will be taking that off the table, and also too because it reduces the act of sex to something that's not even based on affection. It's not based on tender heartedness and being caring, being tender. Loyalty also completely goes out the window. And then it's the energy that you introduce when you're in that energy, and you control the faucet on that. The problem is you have to be willing to be, you know, if a man is not focused on those things along with the package of your sexual expression, then fundamentally those aren't the kind of men you should be going for anyway. And that's a hard lesson. Um, but I accept it in gratitude and graciously. But it's real. So it's something to think about. Let's see, something else here. Um, Let me say one more thing about the distorted feminine piece. Um, when you're in that hypersexualized energy for a man's sake, it's a desperate act. Really, it is a desperate act of self-worth and validation. And again, that is an inside job. And men will ride that like a horse to the end until you're in an early grave or a crazy house. So, that's no good. It's no good. You have to be wise in healing that energy. But I'm going to do another video about that because that's kind of like the distorted masculine video I did. So the next thing I want to say here about Confessions of Pickmesha. Uh, let's see. This is kind of a deeper spiritual concept, and I'm just going to kind of go off the cuff here because these are kind of some thoughts that I've taken from other people because this is a spiritual problem. I hope most people realize that most people don't. But this that we're dealing with right here, um, these kind of dynamics and perspectives, truly are spiritual. And being a Pickmesha, a woman in a Pickmesha energy, a woman that is embodying a distorted feminine energy, that is a shadow contract. That is a contract that you are carrying around with you based on trauma that you are not really resolving. You'll find that the man that you are dealing with in this situation is reminding you of some kind of situation. It's not for anybody to really say. It's something that only you can know in your still quiet moments. But I'm telling you, fundamentally, it's highlighting a trauma, and it's an agreement. It's a contract that you go into with these kind of men who are um, who are focused on the optics of it and focus on what benefits and works for them at the expense and at the sacrifice of you, of your soul, of your spirit, and that's the problem. If you don't perform, you're out. Kind of situation. So the ideas of love and true companionship and being cherished and tenderheartedness just simply don't exist when you carry a Pickmesha energy, because you allow, by embodying the Pickmesha energy, you by default allow those kind of toxic, narcissistic, demonstrous, kind of borderline evil men through the door when you embody that energy. So you have to do your healing to pull yourself out of that. Let me see. What's the biggest thing, the last kind of thing I would say about this Pickmesha thing, because I'm going to kind of put it to bed, other than the other video when I'm doing the distorted feminine. But the Pickmesha is a woman who was fundamentally traumatized by the words and energies of the society around her, the experiences that have been traumatic that she is carrying with her, and instead of processing, it's just showing up in her experience and how she's interacting with people and how she's interacting with herself and sees herself. Um, the validation. Uh, there's a lot of dark uh, emotions and energies to process when you are embodying that energy. Um, and the desperate um, cry for validation and attention from men, rather than figuring out how to channel that for yourself. Even though you're a woman and it's natural, the addiction to it per se, or the codependency around the fact that you can't find it within yourself is 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 a disaster. And it doesn't help that you have religions that make it normal. It doesn't help that you have cultures that make it standard. Um, Oftentimes, when I think about this conversation, I have to remember there are whole parts of the world, Afghanistan, the Middle East, where women are just utterly decimated and subjugated. So it's not like this is not, new. Um, but to see it show up in basically all communities across the globe is concerning. And as far as I am here in in this Western uh, culture and society here in America, insofar as I perpetrate the trauma and the victimhood on myself, I say no more. You know, as far as me allowing uh, in creating, co-creating these traumatizing situations that just decimate my soul and spirit, I say no more. Because I'm no longer going to be wearing the clothes and playing the role and saying the lines and doing the script of a woman who is a Pickmesha. So I hope that this video was somewhat informative, um, healing as well. Um, and and that's pretty much it. That's all I have to say. It you know that's pretty much it. I hope that we can begin to have more courageous conversations. Um, and it isn't about creating contention. Um, this isn't a conversation that's geared towards anybody but women who have had similar experiences and find themselves in similar waters. So that's all. Thank you for your time and attention, and have a great day.